Hey guys, I am going to give you guys a few minutes to come in live because I know there's a little bit of a lag time on here. So while we are waiting for that, I want to tell you guys what the deal is about this whole video series that I'm doing. So if you're on my newsletter list, you got an email this morning that said that they were going to be live every single day this week. What it didn't tell you was that I was going to go live for most of the days this month. Some of the days I'm going to have to do some pre-recorded videos just in case things don't work out well. But I am going to make sure that I've got something ready to go for you guys for most of the days this month as a way of saying thank you for being here and hanging out and all kinds of things. So today the video is all about the number one question that people have been sending in to me, and it's about time management. So that's what we're going to do today. So a couple of things about Facebook Live. Number one, there is a lag time. So sometimes you're going to be seeing me look off to the side because I've got everything on my computer as well. So I want to make sure that any questions that do come in live while we're here, that I get a chance to answer them. So there might be a little bit of lag time. And there is a chance we've got some kind of icky weather happening today. So you never know how Wi-Fi is going to handle things. So if there is any kind of a connection issue, then I'm going to make sure that I finish out the video, re-record it if I need to, if it ends up ending on my end of things. And it's going to be pasted up on the website as well as the Facebook page. So if you are getting this video because somebody shared it to you, it's something that they thought that you would need, you might be wondering who the heck this woman is. So my name is Dawn Martinello, and I run a website called dawnmartinello.com. And basically what I do there is teach entrepreneurs, virtual assistants, and especially network marketers how to use personal branding to stand up and stand out in already overcrowded niches. So that's kind of my whole gig. So if you haven't had a chance to check out my website, then maybe when you've got a few minutes, instead of scanning Facebook or playing around on Instagram, go check it out. There's a ton of free training and advice and tips on there that is sure to spark something for you guys. So let's get into the whole time management thing. So I've got a whole bunch of tips for you guys today because people are constantly asking me, how do I manage everything that I have to do in life? So if you guys have been around for any length of time, you know that when I started my company back in 2009, I had a little baby boy. He was 2 years old at the time, and let me tell you, it was tough, guys. It was tough. And, you know, I found myself waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because my husband at the time wasn't exactly the most helpful person when it came to doing business. So I always had to make sure that I was constantly kind of figuring out how to do everything. So I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would try and get as much done, and I was getting burnt out all of the time, and it just wasn't working. So what I have for you today is a series of tips that I still use today. I'm a single mom. I'm running my own business. I'm, working for other companies who are making millions of dollars in their own company. And it is busy, especially right now with the holidays and people who are trying to start businesses or revamp their businesses. It's hard, guys. It's really, really hard. So the number one tip that I can have for you is dealing with your calendar, okay? So don't turn it off because it's not just, hey, put it on your calendar. Because here's what most people do. They need to go to the gym at 9 o'clock and they're going to be there for an hour. So they block out from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on their calendar, and that's it. However, they don't take into consideration anything else that has to happen. If it's going to take you 30 minutes to come home and get a shower, you need to block that off in your calendar as well. Because what happens at the end of the day, if you're not blocking all of this time off, you're wondering why you can't get anything done, right? You're trying to figure out, why is my calendar telling me that I should have had plenty of time to do all of this, but nothing is really going on. So you need to block out travel time. So if you're going to the gym, if you've got an office that you've got to go to, if you have a client meeting, whatever amount of time that it takes you to get there, you have to make sure that you're blocking that time off. So when I tell you that everything has to go into your calendar, guys, I mean absolutely everything. So for me, when I went to the gym, it was 30 minutes at the gym, it was 20 minutes worth of driving, but it was also 30 minutes of coming home, showering, and getting something into my stomach before I could start actually working again. So that whole list of things has to be inside of your calendar. And I've actually got a couple of links. I'm going to put them in the comments below when I'm done, because there's a couple of videos from a few other people who have really great ideas when it comes to time management. And I'm going to put those in the links for you guys later on. So number 2, also dealing with your calendar of sorts, you need to make sure that you are planning for your day. Okay, so sometimes you might forget to put something onto your calendar, or it sneaks up on you and you get a notification saying, hey, you know what, you have to be somewhere in 20 minutes. You don't really want to deal with that when you are already really, really busy. So what you need to do is spend 15 to 30 minutes every single day. Doesn't matter if it's during the day, it doesn't matter if it's morning, night, it doesn't matter. But put some time aside where you can actually go through your calendar and figure out exactly what you're going to be doing. So if you are having a hard time sleeping, I've got a few friends, a few people that have commented that, you know what, they cannot figure out how they can't sleep at night. They're exhausted when they go to bed. And a lot of times it's because everything is constantly running through their head all the time. So if that happens to be you, if you've got so much stuff that's going on, spend your planning day at the end of the day, because just getting all of that stuff out of your head and onto a piece of paper is really going to help you guys to be able to turn off your brain at night and get the sleep you need, so that when you show up to work the next day, you can actually function and do what you need to do. So make sure you're carving out some time in your day that you can actually go through your calendar and plan it, because things come up. Things, my son tells me all the time, oh, you know what, I need to do this tomorrow. And my day has to completely pivot and change everything that's happening. So those are kind of the basics, right? Nothing really sparking crazy new things. But when it comes to new businesses, and especially people who are trying to take their businesses to a new level, they're always wondering, how am I going to get everything done? So first tip, multitasking is going to kill you guys, okay? There is no life balance when it comes to trying to figure out how to do it. Part of it is going to deal with putting the right stuff on your calendar in the right way. But, people are trying to multitask all the time. They're trying to cook dinner and come back and finish up a few little things. And then they've got it, they're taking notes over here as well. Multitasking is going to kill you. There was a study done that basically they went through and they gave people different things that they had to do, and they had all kinds of distractions that were happening during the day, whether it's people showing up in the office, or an email would come in, or somebody would pick up the phone and call them. And what they found at the end of the study was it actually takes people about 23 minutes for their brain to refocus on the task that they were doing. So another kind of interesting point from that study was the way that they compensated for having all of these different distractions was they actually worked faster, which on the surface kind of sounds like a really good thing, but they also found that people were making more mistakes. Okay, so when you're multitasking, your brain is not. It's not going back. It's not keeping two things there. And you might seem like, okay, well, I'm going to go and do this really quick little phone call over here, and then I'm going to come back and deal with my blog post. And even though you're physically there and you're doing something, your brain, it's not tuned in yet. So you are not functioning the way you should be. So that task, even if you're going to be working longer, is actually going to end up taking you longer. You're going to have to go back and fix all your mistakes. You're going to have this constant kind of rabbit head going on all the time, where things are always going through your head. So when you are trying to figure out what you're going to do, make sure that you're not multitasking, guys. There's just no way around it. You can't deal with it. Another issue that I see people doing all of the time, especially brand new entrepreneurs, is they want to perfect everything before they go live with everything, okay? You need to let it go. And I know that's hard, because I feel the same way about things. I want things to look perfect before I launch them, before I send them out to the world. And it is killer, guys. What makes it worse for me especially is because I'm also a procrastinator. So I tend to put things off until the very last minute, then I work my ass off getting everything done, and then I have this perfection things. So what ends up happening if I give into that is that I am constantly working, I am constantly feeling under pressure for everything, and I can't ever get anything out because the perfectionist in me says this isn't good enough yet. So does that mean that you just put up some shitty little thing? No, it's not. But you have to realize what's going to be good enough and release that. Okay, so if you're building your very first website, just get it up, make it function in the most basic ways, and deal with everything else later. Okay? And it kind of goes hand in hand with the idea of prioritizing what actually makes you money. Okay, so a lot of people come to me, they've got no website set up yet. What do I do first? The first question is always going to be, what makes you actual money? Okay, so when you're figuring out what do I need to have set up in my website in order to go live, you need to have some way for people to buy something from you. If you're doing services, if you're doing products, they have to have some way to actually buy something from you. So figure out how to do that. The easiest way is through something like eJunkie if you don't have a paid shopping cart, or even just a PayPal button. Guys, you can just stick up for years. All I had was PayPal buttons on my website, and that was it. I didn't have shopping carts, I didn't have autoresponders, I didn't have all of these different sequences that automatically went out when people subscribed to all kinds of stuff. I didn't have any of that. I had a PayPal button. Okay, so you need a way for people to buy something. You need a way for people to communicate with you. Ideally, you're going to have a contact form on there, but really, guys, all you need is a contact page that says, here's my email address. That's it. Have a way for people to actually contact you. And even though you guys are always fighting me on this, and I don't know why, set up an email list, okay? If you don't have the money, if you don't have the know-how, if you're not sure what you're going to do, I mean, I've got tips and ideas on my website, but just get it set up. Go to something free for now if you have to. Go to MailChimp.com, set up something free. They'll give you the code to stick onto your website. A lot of times, guys, there's plugins that you can deal with, and you don't have to know anything technical to deal with this. And have a way that you can start getting people to subscribe to your email letter. And that's really the only thing you need to worry about. As you start to build out your business, you're going to find what makes you money. Prioritize those things first. Okay? If it makes you money, assign a task to it, assign a due date to it, and put it inside your calendar. If you guys want to deal with time and figure out how to do it all, this is the way to do it. There's no getting around it. Okay? Also, you know what? I want you guys to do away with to-do lists too, okay? Because I used to have these things, and let me tell you, they were like miles long. Everything that I had to do for my son, everything that I had to do around the house, everything that I had to do for all my clients, everything I had to do for my own business. And I felt defeated at the end of the day. It was so depressing. Even if I had 10 things checked off from there, it was so depressing to find out that, you know what? I've got nothing left that I've got to do, because I've still got like 50 more things that I've got to do for my to-do list that I thought I was going to get done today. So do yourself a favor. Get rid of the to-do list. Don't bother with it. Don't bother with it, guys. Instead, use your calendar. Like I said, if it's going to be something that's going to make you money, then assign a task to it, assign a due date to it, and stick it on a calendar. There are different project management systems that you guys can deal with on there that you can use for free, that you can have a little mini to-do list, but really try to get away from the whole idea of these to-do lists. If you're lucky enough that you've got a family that is supportive and is willing to help for you, you can bring them into your business. My son, he's 9 now, but I mean, I give him jobs all the time, whether it's, emptying out the garbage in for my office or the recycle. He feels like he's a part of it. And it goes a long way for him to help understand when mom is constantly working, or that we can't go and do something because I have a webinar that I have to do or something else. I know a friend of mine, Lori, she sells Young Living. And she was just talking about how she brings her whole family into it. So her husband is, loves the numbers, so he handles all of the books and deals with all of that kind of stuff. And then her kids, her 2 girls, are always helping with social media stuff. They're helping with booking, putting all the orders together and all that kind of stuff. So if you have a family, find some way to bring them in, get them involved with it, figure out what they're good at, figure out what kind of stuff they like to do, and find a way to bring them into your business. And it doesn't have to be big. When I used to be married, I hired my husband as a proofreader, because I got sick and tired of him constantly telling me that I wasn't doing anything and wondering what I was doing behind closed doors. So finally, I just told him, you know what? I'm just going to have you, do some proofreading. And I actually paid him. Hey, Reverend B, how are you, my darling? And I hope Travis is doing well too. Give him my love. It's great to have you here. So if you guys have family or, anything that you can bring into your business that's going to make things a little bit easier, bring them in, give them a feeling like this is their business too. And I'm telling you, it's going to make your life a ton more easier. So there was this story too that I was listening to Ray Higgin, and he was talking about a story that I think it was his wife used to always tell. But they are big into network marketing. If you guys haven't looked them up, they are super duper smart people. So you can find out more about them. But anyway, in this story, she would always deal with network marketers, right? That's what they did. They would have their different parties or different whatever they would do for their company. And people would come in and, always tell them the same thing. I don't have time to start something new. And it's something I say all the time. I don't have time for anything more, right? So in this one case, this guy had come in. He was in, a great big suit, and he was a big macho guy. And he says, I'm making all this kind of money, and I'm working 7 days a week, and I don't have time to do something silly like this. And she looked at him and said, oh man, how long do you have to do that? And it really goes a long way to when we think about when we're being busy, okay? Because there's a big difference between being busy and actually doing something that's going to build your business. So if you're not figuring out how it's going to make you money, or how it's eventually going to make you money by doing something like building your email list, or like these videos, I'm doing these for you as a thank you. And it goes a long way in your business as well, because you're giving something back to them that is valuable. So you need to make sure that you're constantly being aware of what's busy and what is just busy work. Okay, there's a difference between the two. So unless you guys have any questions, I'm going to wrap up this video today because I have a few things I need to do. Tomorrow we're going to live stream again. It's probably going to be at the same time, 11 o'clock, and I'm going to be talking about target marketing because you guys don't get this, especially network marketers. I have so many people. And I don't want to say it's just network marketers, because it was the same thing that I did when I started my company. I started off as a virtual assistant. I thought, I'm going to deal with, entrepreneurs that are online everywhere in the world, and it was a disaster. And I'll tell you that story tomorrow. But especially with network marketing and new people that are coming in, they are so afraid of sectioning people off because they think that they're going to, somebody needs this. I'm going to miss out on somebody. They're not going to give me enough money. It's all pooey. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. So I hope you guys can make it around for there. And I'm also going to be doing a webinar. It is going to be on Wednesday, December 15th. At noon Eastern Standard Time, and it is all for our brand soldiers. So people who are looking to figure out how to recruit online. So network marketers, if you're trying to figure out how am I going to get new clients, new customers, new team members, how do I do it, and how do I do it online, and how do I save my time and energy and not go absolutely ballistic all of the time trying to figure all of this out for very little return on what you're doing. This webinar is going to be amazing for you. So I'll put a link to register for that as well. It's going to happen on Wednesday, December 15th at noon. It's absolutely free for you guys. So I'm pretty excited. So like I said, guys, tomorrow we're going to deal with target marketing. So hope you show up for that. If you guys enjoyed this, please share it with anybody who might be needing a little nudge when it comes to their calendar, to-do list, and time management. And I will see you guys tomorrow.